Like and subscribe right now, or this will be in your bed tonight. r/ask Reddit by Planet Reddit. Hey Reddit, what's the strangest coincidence you've ever personally experienced? When I was a kid, around 13, I played a lot of a video game called Diablo 2. I started a clan with a few people I'd met on the internet and we played every day. At some point we were helping some random person and he asked to join. We thought he was nice enough, so we let him in. As part of this clan we had a shared account we used to store game items for each other. After about a month of playing, this new guy goes in and changes the password, steals the account and defriends everyone. Completely disappears off the map with all of our stuff. Fast forward a year later, and my family moves to Texas and it's my first day at school. I'm sitting in algebra class talking to the person in the seat next to me, and he mentions he plays Diablo. I said me too, and that I ran a clan and everything. I asked his username, and it was him 2,000 miles away from where I first virtually met this guy. He's sitting next to me in math class. When I told him mine, his face went into total shock and he didn't know how to respond. It was awkward for sure. Ended up telling him I didn't care and was over it, but let's just say we didn't end up becoming friends. Probably thought you had tracked him down to exact your revenge. My screen name is Inigo_Montoya. You stole my stuff in Diablo. Prepare to die. Edit. Spelling. Diablo. Shucks. In freshman physics, I became friends with the Japanese kid next to me. After a while he was helping me with my Japanese homework, did really well after that, BTW. But after that class, we kinda drifted apart. Fast forward 2 years, where I'm an exchange student in Japan over the summer, and doing some sightseeing in Kyoto after the program. I'm crossing the street in Kyoto, and I hear my name being called out. I look around and there he is. Thousands of miles apart we meet again. We got some drinks and good food together. It was a blast. No, his hometown was not Kyoto. He was also doing sightseeing while home for the summer. Edit. My first gold. Thank you, kind internet stranger. That's absolutely insane. The odds are unreal. Not only the same place, but the same time, and in sightline/vicinity. To be fair, in season it feels like half the world is doing sightseeing in Kyoto. I went to Kyoto, and there I espied my mother and father and sister beside. I saw my old teacher, my great uncle Pat, my friend and the milkman, my brother, my cat. I went to Kyoto, and there I beheld the kid in my class who had gotten expelled. I looked at my dentist, my first cousin Eve, my co-workers, Sophie and Simon and Steve. I went to Kyoto, and there with defeat, I noticed the lady who lives down the street. My grandpa and grandma. My old buddy Jack. I went to Kyoto. I'm not going back. I met a Canadian guy while on holiday in South America and we ended up going sightseeing together. At the end of the day a person behind us tapped him on the shoulder and asked if the scar behind his ear was from cancer surgery. They got talking. Turns out they were from the same small town in Canada, had the same type of brain cancer, and had been operated on by the same surgeon. Something's up with that town. No, nothing's up with it. It's just a coincidence that the town just happens to be Cancerville, Manitoba. Welcome to Cancerville. Population constantly multiplying. Hey. That's the same slogan as Fucksville. Edit. Thank you for the silver, you kind soul. Started dating this girl a few weeks ago. We get to talking about where we live, etc. She lives in not only the same building, but exact same apartment I lived in 2 years ago. It was so fucking bizarre walking into my old apartment that I never thought I would see again. What are the odds? That is pretty weird. The reveal convo was like something out of a cheesy B movie. Me, so what area do you live in? Huh, SLU, oh, RV me, oh cool. I used to live there, which apt, huh, name's my old building me, wow what a small world, me too. I miss that place. I used to live on the 6th floor. Huh, me too. Me. Don't tell me you live in apt 610. Hahaha. OMG I do. Then she proceeded to send me pics from my old balcony, one that I spent countless hours on. Blew my mind completely. I used to get 2 buses home from work. I got off the first one having left my phone and keys on the front seat of the bus without realizing. Got on the second bus, went to my favorite front seat and my possessions, that I didn't know were missing, were waiting for me. The bus had changed driver and route. Still freaks my nut out to this day. Phone, wallet, keys. Before you leave the bus, remember the acronym WAI, wallet, phone, keys, egg, backup. Went to college, met a cute girl. Where'd you go to high school? She asks. You've never heard of it, I reply. I grew up in a town of 1,200 people, graduated in a class of about 90. Try me, she says. And that was the beginning of finding out that not only had she heard of it, she had almost attended it, because her family had lived in one of the neighboring towns very briefly when she was growing up. We shared dozens of mutual friends and had apparently spent our young lives narrowly missing each other. Later, after we started dating, we learned that one of our mutual friends had been trying to set us up with each other for years. She was overwhelmed with laughter when she saw that we were finally together, completely without our involvement. I asked her to marry me, she said yes. We went out to dinner with our parents so they could finally meet. Her folks arrive at the restaurant and see mine. Her mom goes, "Oh hey, my dad's name. So this is your son, huh?" They had been co-workers years ago. Of course. We've been married for 11 years now. Got a good thing going. We intend to keep it. Edit. I'm so glad you all enjoyed this. I love talking about my wife and have tons of wholesome stories like this. We do well because we each feel like we're the lucky one. Enjoy your day. Edit 2. By request of several commenters, I'm adding one of my favorite stories of my wife and I in a comment below. It is a much cuter story. Please enjoy. I was worried you were related. And this is why I love Reddit. Okay, some of you asked for another story. In 2006, I was living in a city I didn't like without a car, and working a job I hated. The job was about 2 hours away by bus due to the number of transfers I had to make. I spent a lot of time reading to distract myself en route and away from work. It was late summer, but not very late. I was on my way back to the apartment I shared with my friends after a long shift, and not looking forward to the ride home. Fortunately, I had Neil Stephenson's Cryptonomicon to keep me company for the ride. I also had my thoughts. It was a tough year. I had left a long-term relationship earlier in the year, which upended a lot of the stability and things I had taken for granted in my life. No car, new apartment, new dynamics with mutual friends. It had been a couple months, and I had gone on a few dates with a girl I had met at college. I liked her, and I thought she liked me, but I worried that maybe I was moving too quickly into dating, especially since she had left a long relationship earlier in the year as well. I've never known how to date, so I felt out of my depth, and wasn't sure what was normal or abnormal in this situation. All the things that tend to be on your mind in a situation like this were on my mind as I walked out of work that day, towards the bus stop at the top of the hill. I had sent a few texts to the girl earlier, but she had seemed distracted. Oh well. Better to put it out of my head, I thought. I arrived at the stop at about the same time as the bus, boarded, and settled into my book. 3 stops after I had boarded, I heard someone talking to the driver and noticed we hadn't gotten back on the road yet. I didn't stop reading and didn't even look up until the sounds up front stopped being spoken to the driver and started being directed to me. "My name," said the girl at the front of the bus. I looked up and took what was probably a frustrating amount of time to process what was happening. After longer, I'm sure, than the other bus riders would have liked, I gathered my things and stepped off the bus with this girl, still quite in shock. She grabbed my hand and walked rapidly, pulling me along to a side street where her car was idling. "I can't believe I had to stop a bus for you," she said as the bus revved past us. We got in the car and she pulled onto the main street. "I yelled to you while you were walking through the parking lot," she said, and I smiled a little. "And then I drove alongside you and yelled out the window," she said, and I smiled a bit more, warming to her adorable frustration. "And then you got on that stupid bus? I didn't know you were picking me up," I said, and she gave me a look that I've come to know very well over the years. "You were obviously having a really bad day. I thought it would make you feel better to go do something together." I reached out for her hand. "It really would," I said. "Where are we going?" She laughed. "Oh, no. I did my part. I stopped a bus for you. You get to choose where we are going." I nodded, and I gathered scattered thoughts into a clear picture. She was in it. "Alright. I've got a good idea." We were married 2 years later. Thank you for supporting Planet Reddit. I love you. Subscribe for 3 videos a day.